Hi, my name is Carter Wilson. I'm here with Mr. Grizzard, the vocal director and the musical vocal director. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So you've been the director for Greenfield Central for
9 years.
9 years. So what have you enjoyed about being here for the last 9 years?
It's just a great community to be in. Before I started teaching here, I was living here in Greenfield and commuting out to Rushville where I taught. And so to be here in the town where I live, where now my kids are going to the same school system where I'm teaching, is just it's a great fit for me. We have 6 choirs here, so a thriving program with great kids, and I really enjoy my job.
Awesome. So you mentioned you taught at Rushville. So what have you enjoyed about Greenfield Central program compared to other school program you've taught or student taught at?
The main difference between my previous school and this school is the show choir. At Rushville I had 5 choirs, no show choir. Here I have 6 choirs with a show choir. That has been a challenge for me, but I do enjoy it, and I feel like I'm getting my feet wet and getting better at it every year.
Yeah. So what made you decide to pursue choir and music education in general?
My mom, when I was young, taught voice lessons out of our house, and so I kind of grew up around music, and we'd always have her students over. And then she became a pastor, and she was a pastor of her church, and she needed somebody to conduct the church choir. So when I was 17, I just kind of got thrown in there with no experience and really enjoyed it, and kind of saw that as a possible career.
You got thrown in there at a young age. Wow.
That's right.
Have you had any interest in any other career before, other than just music teaching?
I did get, actually you and I have talked about this, but I did get a double major in music and math.
Right.
More as just kind of a backup plan because there's not too much money in music, sadly. And so I thought about doing CPA or actuarial science, things like that. And so I did get a double major just to have that as an option. And who knows, still an option. Teaching in the fine arts is always kind of a dicey issue, and you always kind of wonder about the future. And so it's good to have other avenues. And I am kind of a math person and enjoy that, so I could see myself doing something besides music teaching.
Oh, yeah. Well, music and math go together a lot.
That's true.
So to get into the actual choirs, Greenfield Central's top choir, Madrigal, is getting ready for state quals soon. So could you explain to me what Madrigal is as a group?
So Madrigal is focused on what's called the Madrigal Dinners, which is like a Renaissance type of singing. True Madrigal groups are smaller, about 16 people. And I've done Madrigal dinners at several other schools, and one reason I did decide to come here is so they do have a nice Madrigal program where it is in full Renaissance costume, and they do dinners where it is kind of an event where you have a dinner served and you have kind of a skit and you have music being performed. However, that group is not solely on that. It's also our top choir that does competitions, and they do gigs. We sing the national anthem at the Pacers games and things like that.
Oh, wow.
And so the Madrigal style is just one certain style, but the Madrigal group here in Greenfield does all sorts of styles.
Oh, awesome. So it's a very versatile group. How has your Madrigal group been to work with this year?
Really good group. One of my best I've had in my 9 years.
Wow, that's awesome. So do you have any preparations or expectations for this year's state quals?
Well, preparations does take a lot of work. Really it starts as they're freshmen to teach them how to sing and sight singing, and then building up so we have a good equal number of voices, good balance. We are tasked to sing a repertoire from the list from what's called ISMA, the Indiana State School Music Association, and they make sure that you're doing difficult repertoire that's going to make sure that you are pushing yourselves. And so I plan my job out way in advance to make sure that we have the voices and the music ready to go. And then in terms of what to plan for, this year's group just put on a great spring concert last Thursday night. Some of the stuff that we did for that concert we will compete with. We'll be coming back after spring break and learning another song, and we'll just kind of see what is going to fit us best. But I think we have very good chances. Last year we got both gold in performance and gold in sight singing.
Oh, wow.
And I think this year's group is on par, if not better than that, so I do expect good results.
That's great. So Madrigal is the top group. So I know you have 6 choirs, correct?
Yes.
So could you explain the importance and the necessity for each of these choirs?
Well, coming at the freshman level, we have them split soprano, alto, and tenor and bass. They are really 2 different instruments. The male voice and the female voice do have a kind of a different way to teach. The main things, the voices change for tenors and basses.
Yeah, definitely.
And so you have to learn that style, and usually at that age, that's when the voice starts to go through puberty and things do sound different. And so we have that split to just kind of teach that different style of singing. So we have what's called treble choir for sopranos and altos. We have tenor and bass choir for tenors and basses, and that's the beginning choirs. Then the next year we have the intermediate groups. Concert choir is with boys and girls together, sopranos, altos, tenors, and basses. And then we have the other intermediate choir, bella voce, which is just sopranos and altos. Then our two advanced group, madrigal, as you've discussed, and then we also have our show choir, legacy.
Oh, okay, interesting. So are you ever planning to add more or expand upon these choirs?
Yeah, the goal, I'd say the 10-year goal is to have an 8-choir program where we have a group in between the concert choir and the madrigal, because we have, as I said, madrigal should be a smaller choir. True madrigal groups have 16. My goal is always to get 32, and we always, I mean, it's a good problem to have, but we always have so many kids try out for the group that it's hard for me to cut the kids who deserve to be there. So even though my goal is 32, we just posted the list for next year, and I believe we're at, I think, 49. So,
oh, wow.
so the goal is to maybe split that group and have another group. And then we also have a lot of, just to be honest, for the show choir, we have more interest in girls than in boys. Mm-hmm. And so the possibility is to add just a girls show choir so that both show choirs are more evenly balanced.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have a lot of talented singers in Greenfield, I guess. So there's also a show choir, Legacy. You mentioned that earlier. Could you tell me more about that?
Yep, so it is a group that does primarily kind of popular music, pop, rock, some jazz. That is focused on the show choir competition season, which just finished up. We go from the end of January through usually early March, where it's a Saturday competition. We go to different schools and we do a show choir set, usually about 20 minutes long, and it is arranged by myself, and I just choose songs that are going to be with the band. We have guitars and drums and trumpets and things like that that accompany us, and it is with not too difficult, but it is with dancing, and so it is quite a thing here in Indiana. The show choir competitions are a huge deal, and they are very competitive. But Legacy keeps getting better. This year we just, for the first time, won our division at one of the competitions and came back grand champions after competing at the Heart of America competition in Nashville. And that really just encourages me as the director that we're heading in the right way, and that we are continuing to improve.
Awesome, what an achievement. So what exactly is a show choir competition like, from entering the doors to exiting?
It's a very organized and kind of regimented. You have your own homeroom, so when you arrive, you don't have to be fully changed yet, and they give you some time to get ready. Show choir does involve costume changes. It does involve set pieces. We have a tech crew that does a great job helping us out. We have our band that has to bring the drum sets and amps and guitars and instruments, so we have to get that all ready to go. Not all show choir competitions are the same, but I think the really good ones have it really well organized so that you have hosts that meet you and they take you from your homeroom to what's called a warm-up room, where you are timed and you have 25 minutes to get ready to go. Then they have your hosts take you from your warm-up room to the stage. Each competition is different. Usually you have a very boisterous show choir crowd of other schools that are there to watch. Sometimes it's just you and the judges. And then after you compete, usually they take a video of you and you go to a separate room and you can watch yourselves. And then it is waiting for awards. There's lots of different divisions, as I said. We are a smaller school, and so we are usually what's called the small mixed. You have small, what's called the univoice, which means all sopranos and altos, or all tenors and basses. Then we have the large mixed, large univoiced. And then at the end of the competition, they have a big and usually very fun award ceremony where they give awards to each choir. They also have what's called Outstanding Performer, where then they pick one person from the group from each choir as the outstanding performer. I've always kind of bristled on that because I like to preach the choir family, like we're all here for a unified goal. We're all here to try to achieve something together. But in show choir, it's also a competition for individuals to try to outdo each other to become the outstanding performer. But I think it comes from a good place that it's helping the kids kind of push themselves and push those around. So the competitions are usually a day-long activity, but always a lot of fun.
Awesome. So you spent some time here at GC now. So how has the choir program, in your opinion, evolved since you've been here?
When I started, the show choir had a different name and did not compete, and was really just kind of in the trenches of not, I think, living up to the potential of the group. And so when I came in, I changed the name and kind of it took a few years to kind of change the culture of it, and that has really come off the ground. Madrigal was excellent when I came, and I think we've kept up that level of excellence. And then the other choirs I've kind of built up. Concert choir used to be called chamber choir, and it was really just more of the students who didn't really enjoy singing, but just were there kind of just to have a class without much homework and with easier grades, not gonna lie. And so now concert choir is a big step above, and their performance at last week's spring concert was truly amazing, and I'm very impressed with that group. The freshmen always come from the 8th grade, and so it's kind of, depending on what you get each year is different, but I think we have a good streamlined kind of 9 through 12 program, Madrigal and Legacy both being a goal for the kids that come in as freshmen.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have today. So thank you for coming and talking to me, Mr. Grizzard, and thank you for watching, and you have a great day.
You too, thanks.